What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another edition of the Countdown City Geekcast, and this is going to be our non-spoiler review for Evil Dead Rise. My name is Ted, aka Steady, and joining me on this episode is my pal Retro Ray. What's going on, Ray?
What's going on, guys? This is going to be a cool, groovy review.
Absolutely. And once again, I'll reiterate, no spoilers here, but we definitely want you to check out the movie when you get an opportunity. This was as much of an Evil Dead movie as I expected it to be. Evil Dead is a very particular flavor. It's a very particular style, and this movie nailed it. If you would have put this movie a few years after Evil Dead 2, it would have felt like it was a continuation, not lore wise and not like story wise, just in the sense of that it hits all the same beats. It's all the same, like I mentioned earlier, sort of flavors of a Evil Dead movie. However, I will say this one kicks it up a notch. Your adrenaline is pumping. You have anxiety from start to finish, and I just love what this movie accomplished. What about you, man?
I mean, I definitely like the way, like you said, I mean, the opening scene alone sells it. And then the cinematography and the way they filmed it, the angles, I mean, using a little bit of the homage. And you can tell the director is a horror fan in himself because he doesn't just use homages from, Evil Dead. He takes, you can see a little bit of from here and there from other horror flicks. But yeah, definitely the gore is there. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely, and, the director that we're actually referring to, I believe his name is Lee Cronin,
Yeah, I think
and,
that.
he not only directed this film, but he also wrote the whole thing, and he wrote it during COVID. So there's a very, there's a very static sort of, environment of this movie, and the reason for that is because Mr. Lee Cronin wrote this during COVID, and he was, pretty much locked in his apartment for all the same amount of time that we were. So it was very interesting in that aspect. He's also Irish. He even had I think, the world premiere in Dublin. So it's great and wonderful when you have fans of the horror genre grow up and they're so talented. They understand what works, they understand what doesn't work, and he put so much of what does work into this movie. And what's really funny is that he told the story about how he would watch scary movies growing up with his family, but the things he was watching, The Shining, the original Evil Dead movie, they were not always appropriate. So when he would sort of look away or like go into the next room, he would stay to watch the reaction of the rest of his family members, and seeing how they reacted to those movies is really what inspired him to, or have a love for the genre, and would later on inspire him to make movies of his own. I want to check out his other stuff. He's done some short films. He's also done like a few other features. So I'm gonna go back and check those out. But this movie in particular, the performances, stellar, outstanding. I there's movies across the entire genre where, like, you just kind of get average performances from certain movies. Like Scream is very story driven, it's not very performance driven. This movie, Evil Dead movies are very performance driven, and I do not understand what it takes to take on a character that's overcome and turns into a deadite. Like, I have no idea how people can pull that off, but just all the performances throughout this movie are fantastic. The special effects, the practical effects. I mean, there's just so much that works here from start to finish. I feel like whether you're a fan of the franchise or you're not, you're gonna be able to understand what's happening, and you're going to appreciate, how much effort it takes to make a movie like this.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. I mean, like you said, I mean, the little girl that they had playing the younger daughter, I mean, she did an awesome job for someone that age to be in a horror film and then to be surrounded by what we see. She did an awesome job. I mean, even with the without giving spoilers of the movie, the other two kids themselves as well. I mean, to have kids in that, I mean, they were what, 13, 14? No, a little bit older, right?
Say it again?
The two kids, the two older kids, they were like what, in their 13, 14? No,
I
because I think
think
one
more
of them,
like high school, maybe
yeah,
freshman, sophomore.
yeah, I think that's pretty much,
That's
yeah.
like 15, 16, 17, something like that.
Yeah, because one of them, yeah, definitely, yeah, because one's driving, yeah. I mean, them themselves, I mean, to be able to pull, like you said, the acting driven, that they asked from them to pull that off was just phenomenal.
I completely agree. Um, if you are a fan of just scary movies in general, or if you just like jump scares, if you like gore in your
Yeah.
films, I mean, this one checks off all the boxes, but none of it is forced. All of it is it comes very natural at a great pace, and it's just a fantastic movie. The horror movie genre has really been pretty stellar, for a while now. I know people say stuff like, "Oh, there's no more, original ideas in Hollywood," but, like, Barbarian. There's been like a ton of like these original films that have been coming out recently that have really Nope, that have really like pushed the genre and expanded it into different realms. For those who say like Nope isn't a scary movie, like yes, yes it is. It is a horror movie. I promise you that. It's just a very specific, different kind of scary movie. But all in all, I really love this movie, and I think we're going to do a spoiler review potentially next week. So be on the lookout for that. And then, Ray, any final things you want to say about the movie?
I would definitely recommend watching the first Evil Dead movies just to get, because there's some things that it's gonna make your brain to start to think while you're watching this movie about stuff from the first movies. So it's kind of like you don't want to miss out, I guess, because now I'm actually wanting to go back and watch the movies again from the beginning because it's been a while since I watched them. But walking out of that theater made me want to go back and watch them.
Absolutely. I'm with you right there, man. I want to go back, watch all of them. The series was a very sort of on its own type thing, like in its own universe. Like even though it
Yeah,
has Ash, but it kind of got away from a lot of things and really became its own. So I don't think you have to go back and watch the series all that much. But this one introduces some very interesting elements. You and I talked about it after the movie was over.
yeah.
There could be an extension of the franchise. There could be multiple films that tie into one another or don't tie into one another, but that remains to be seen. Go check out Evil Dead Rise whenever you get a chance, and be sure to subscribe to the Countdown City Geeks. That way, you can hear our spoiler review early next week. For the Countdown City Geeks, my name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this Evil Dead Rise non-spoiler review is the one, the only Retro Ray.
Yes, sir, guys. Thanks for joining us. Also, I did post on Real Retro store I work with. They are going to basically, if you come follow us, Ted has a link where you can sign up and win tickets, screening tickets like today. Um, and then also we'll be giving other stuff away, occasionally in the show. I will be giving away the box that we were giving away at the end of the show. So, like I said, go sign up and we're going to pick a winner. And then also there'll be some other cool stuff as well.
He's talking about one of these. If you want your own Evil Dead Rise surprise, be sure to go down into the description of this video and click on the link tree and join our email giveaway list. We're also going to be giving away some passes to Fast X. That's right. a 10th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise, not including the spin-offs. But if you want an opportunity to be one of the first to win a pass to Fast X, be sure to go on to our link tree and join the email list giveaway. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Groovy.